Hello everybody, my name is Zen and welcome back to our Indie Game Spotlight, where we are taking a look at Evoland, which is a game that was pretty successful and recently released on GOG.com and also as a Steam greenlit game. Usually at this point I would tell you what genre this game is, but in this case it would be like me trying to tell you what a Picasso painting means. This game is at its core an RPG, but the major concept keeps it from being any type of game specifically. The concept is that the game upgrades its technology as you play and discover new pieces of it. For example, at the beginning of the game, you start off in a very original Zelda-esque world that has some very basic game mechanics like moving left and right, and then you get the ability to have sound and music, and sooner rather than later you're getting the ability to attack, move in multiple directions, have upgraded graphics, and even change the combat mechanics around. Before you know it, the world is transforming around you and the game becomes really new and fresh each time you find a major advancement. There is also a lot of throwbacks to older games, such as the previously mentioned Zelda, but you will also find a huge amount of similarities to Final Fantasy, the new and the older versions. And you'll even get a sword that is a giant reference to Cloud's sword in Final Fantasy VII. It's fairly obvious. Not to mention that a good chunk of time is spent in a world that is very similar to Final Fantasy VI. You'll upgrade your gear and then learn to talk to several NPCs, change perspectives in the world, and even start to solve basic puzzles. But while exploring the world, it becomes quite intriguing because you'll end up going back to older zones quite frequently, but they always are changing since you're upgrading the graphics. The graphical updates themselves are quite impressive in the manner that not only will the entire way that you play change when they upgrade, but the feeling of the environments will spring up any nostalgic memories that us old school gamers have. For example, there are many parts of the game that I said, like earlier, are reminiscent of Zelda, but you'll find really obscure references to Mario in the mix as well. Not to mention that the game literally takes a journey through previous console generations. You'll feel like you're switching from the NES to the SNES, to the N64, to the PlayStation, and then to the PlayStation 2, and all of that within a matter of an hour of playing. It's actually really trippy, but completely unique. While the concept of the game is its greatest strength, it's also its greatest weakness. Because the developers decided to focus on invoking memories of our past, they missed out on making an actually good game. The combat systems are incredibly simple, the story is mediocre, and the RPG mechanics are basic at best. The entire time that I was playing, I kept telling myself that I wanted more depth out of the game, and that I wanted to be attached to the characters in the story, but there was so little there to attach to that I found myself just wanting to explore and find new game systems to unlock. Is that a bad thing, though? I mean, it's something that I don't like about the game, but I also understand where the devs were coming from when they were directing this game. They weren't trying to make it some huge blockbuster RPG with super deep character progression. I understand that. They instead were trying to create what they perfected, which was making an experience that is really unique within the gaming world right now. And it allows us older gamers to take a trip down memory lane. In fact, a game like this can be capable of having a few bad things about it, all games do, and still be a great game. I mean, nothing is perfect after all. Evoland made it onto our indie spotlight not for its ability to compete with the Mass Effect franchise, but because it was something that I truly haven't seen before. It's also a game that's not only fun to play, but has a lot of humor in it for those of us who love to play games, older and younger generations alike. You can pick up this game for pretty cheap, for the price of $10 on Steam, but I personally would get it on GOG. That's just my preference though. However, on that note, we shall see you guys next time.